Okay, today we're going to do a short introduction to perimeter and area of rectangles. And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to say, I can find the perimeter and area of rectangles. Perimeter is the total distance around the outside of a shape. So if I were to walk around a shape, I would ask myself, how far did I walk? And that would give me the perimeter of my shape. In order to find the perimeter, I simply add all the sides. 4 plus 9 plus 4 plus 9. And in this case, the perimeter is 26 inches. You can also think of perimeter like this. If I were to take the shape apart and make a line segment from its sides, I would ask myself, how long is this line? Well, to find the length of this line, I simply need to add all the sides. I can imagine this boy on the pogo stick bouncing around the triangle. And then ask myself, how far did the boy travel? That's the same thing as asking, what is the perimeter of the triangle? In this case, each side of the triangle is 30 feet. In your notebooks, in your summaries, what kind of triangle is this? Name this triangle by its sides and circle your answer in the summary. Then find the perimeter. To find the perimeter of this triangle, I would simply add up all the sides of the triangle and get 90 feet. Let's imagine that this boat's in a race and the boat must maneuver around the buoys. Now ask yourself, how far did the boat travel? That's just like asking what's the perimeter of the parallelogram. And again, to find the perimeter of this shape, you simply need to add up all of the sides. Area is the number of squares that can fit in a shape. So in this rectangle, there are 3 rows and 5 columns of squares. So altogether, there are 15 squares. And I get this by taking the length, 3, and the width, 5, and multiplying them. When I have area, I always need to label my units in inches or feet or centimeter squared, because I'm counting how many squares are inside of a given shape. In this case, I have a 4 by 6 rectangle. When I multiply 4 times 6, I get 24, and that tells me that the area is 24 inches squared, because there are 4 rows by 6 columns of squares. And I can count these squares to get 24 squares. So let's review the formulas for area and perimeter of rectangles. You find the perimeter of a rectangle using any of the following formulas, and there's a few. The first is length plus width plus length plus width. And that's simply if you were walking around this rectangle and counting or adding all of the sides together in the order that you walked around. Since it's a rectangle, I know that the length on the left and the right are both the same, and the width on the top and the bottom are both the same. So I can think length plus width, because I know that each of those dimensions is going to be used twice. I can also think of it as saying the length times 2, because there are 2 sides that have a length of 5 inches, plus 2 times the width, because there are 2 sides that have a width of 8 inches. Or, using the distributive property, I know if I add the length and width, one length and one width, and multiply them by 2, that will give me the perimeter as well. Area is much simpler because there's only one formula. You find the area of a rectangle using the formula length times width. So this rectangle, with a length of 5 and a width of 8, I would simply multiply 5 times 8 to get 40 inches squared. In your notebooks, find the perimeter and area of each of these rectangles. Don't forget to WSQ. You can go back and watch any portion of this video as many times as you need to.